GMIT was founded in 1972 as Galway Regional Technical College. In that same year, the Students' Union was founded. Obviously, there have been huge changes down through the years. And we're going to look at what it was like back then, how it has changed, and what it is like now.
When we started in '72, we had about 200 third level students and about 300 apprentice students, both in the engineering and in the hotel area. So one of the things I had to do was to look and see could we get a student organisation in place, because we had the staff and they had their unions and so on. So I set about doing that, and one of the things I needed was a constitution, draw up a constitution for the first Students' Union. I didn't know much about it at the time, so Pat Rabbit, who is now the minister, he at that stage was head of the students in UCG. And he grew up about 2 miles from where I come from in Mayo, so I knew him, and I rang him up and asked would he give me a bit of advice. So he arrived up anyway, and we had a chat, and he said he'd draft the Students' Union constitution for me.
But I remember the early years being involved in so many other activities, setting up, organising class representatives. From the very start, the Students' Union got class representatives organised. And when I became head of school, I certainly welcomed class representatives, and I met them on a regular basis, and it was a wonderful opportunity for me to identify problems and do my best to eliminate them as quickly and as speedily and as effectively as possible. And I think that worked very well. And I think it's one of the big achievements of the Students' Union is the way that class representatives have operated down through the years.
It has evolved over the years. It has become a very professional organisation. And I'm very proud to be associated with and to be involved in indirect capacity with the Student Union here.
In terms of a change, I think the issues keep changing, or to some extent the issues keep changing. When I came here first, student accommodation was a major issue. That's residential accommodation. That was resolved through the building of the student villages. Another big issue, and it's amazing that the type of things that blow up, another issue that blew up subsequently was car parking.
We didn't have computers. We were quite poor at that stage, and computers were a relatively new thing, so we used to type letters on a typewriter, and the office was a great place. That's when I started in '97.
The Students' Union in that first year really came under the Students' Union in NUI Galway. And we were a very militant and vocal group because there was a lot to fight for at the time. We had no library, the facilities were very, very basic. It was the very first year the college was open. People were finding their feet, both the college management and the lecturers, as well as students were finding their feet.
I remember doing the accounts for the union before we got to the point where we're now kind of a seriously professional organisation with audited accounts.
The Students' Union plays a huge role in assisting and supporting student welfare through running campaigns and providing advice and information.
Well, the role of welfare officer will deal with different issues such as mental health, sexual health, accommodation and grant issues as well.
So my dealings has nearly always been with student welfare and making sure that their health and well-being is catered for at all times. If that's done, then we're well on our way to doing a good job.
GMIT is a multi-campus organisation.
Well, I think it's one of the things that I was definitely very conscious of when I came into the role, is that we are a multi-campus organisation. And I think there's absolutely no question that when I started here in the Students' Union, there was a kind of a feel that many of the other campuses may have been detached from the Students' Union as a whole, but not just from the Students' Union, from the college as a whole. And I certainly think that we had and continue to have a massive role to play in terms of trying to develop that community atmosphere across the campuses, and it is a big challenge. But I mean, we've done a lot in the last number of years in terms of we now have a campus liaison officer who contractually spends a lot of their time I suppose delivering the message of the Students' Union and the services of the Students' Union directly to the students on those campuses.
On the other campuses, they'd be down every so often doing meetings and stuff, and it would give a more of a community-based feel to the campuses.
Not that there's not so much now, but I think times it's in it, we take on more of a welfare role now and kind of more of a financial role in people's lives, trying to help them out money-wise and trying to advise them best money-wise in Castlebar anyways.
The union represents students on various different boards and committees, right up to the highest levels of management structure.
Well, I think the Students' Union play a very important role because obviously they represent the student body, which is the whole business that we're in, is giving the students a good quality education. And we think the Students' Union, their role there is to represent the students at all levels in the organisation, from the very top of the governing body to academic council, liaising with the heads of school and heads of department at the programme level, working with the academic service in terms of registration, fees, whatever it might be, social welfare. So really they encompass the whole aspect of the student's life in GMIT.
We always make a very, very good case for the students when it comes to fees or any particular situations that the students are involved in. They certainly make themselves heard, and I think they play a very, very vital role.
Well, the Students' Union, I work with them on the governing body, and I also work with them as a lecturer in terms of GMIT. I think they're excellent in terms of articulating their view of what the student needs, the student, I suppose, experience. The president of the Students' Union is very good at an operational level and a strategic level in terms of articulating the vision.
The role of the Students' Union from an academic viewpoint is to represent the views of the student at various committees in the organisation. I suppose it starts off with the academic council, and they are automatically represented on the academic council. We have 3 members actually, 2 representing the undergraduates and 1 representing postgrad students. So they have a very strong voice in the academic community.
Students in GMIT take part in a number of volunteering, fundraising and charitable activities.
The students have been fantastic, and they're very enthusiastic when it comes to campaigns, and they're a great voice for us. And I think if you get students behind a campaign, they add so much more weight to it. For example, with say our Act Fast Stroke campaign, they really actively promote it on the campus. They get people involved in it. A lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm, and it's great, and it has been great for us to tap into that. Because we would rely a huge amount on volunteers, and there's a real volunteering culture around GMIT.
So a couple of years back, the Galway Lions Club recognised the significant role students had played, and over that period of time, I think it was a 37-year period, the students had raised in excess of €40,000, which is fairly substantial by any group in terms of fundraising.
The Student Union at GMIT does a lot of work with the community.
GMIT play a very vital role here in the city, and it's got the college itself has got a very good reputation, an excellent reputation, both in Galway and further afield.
Well, from our point of view and from the Guards' point of view, it's a very important role because, as you're aware, there's an awful lot of students that attend this college living in the locality, and it's very important that we have a good working relationship with the Students' Union.
And they're certainly very proactive as a union in sorting out the issues that are brought to them, when they're brought to them, and then they'll come back when those issues concluded.
It also plays a role in terms of integrating international students to the college.
Well, the Students' Union play a critical role in helping international students. I think the first thing they have to do is make the students feel welcome when they come in here. And there's an induction session which is put on at the start of each year, which the international students are told about the Students' Union, their role and so forth. After that, as we go through the year, we also have a dedicated part-time cultural officer attached to the Students' Union.
Yeah, of course, and there they offered me help. They helped me to find a place in Glasgow, and after settling down everything, and I began with my class, and my classmates, my teacher, and people here are very friendly and helpful.
When it comes to communicating with students, the Students' Union has moved away from traditional media and has embraced technology.
The other side of it, I suppose, has been how we communicate with our members has changed hugely and is continuing to change hugely over the last number of years with the growth of social media, our own social networks such as Facebook and Twitter, whereby we're finding that, almost the best and most effective way for us to get a message out there quickly to our membership, you know, it certainly isn't all encompassing with the amount of you know, mature students and so on that we have here on campus. But you know, if we want to get a message out, we want to get it out there quickly. At the moment, that's the most efficient method.
So social media, Facebook, Twitter, we're using YouTube quite a bit as well. I think that presence has really brought our existence and our importance more to the fore. And also the likes of, we've been able to use texting technologies, we've got our plasma screens now, and it's allowed us to interact more with students, to engage with them, get feedback immediately in real time. And that has allowed us to then develop our strategy going forward.
The union has an influence in terms of promoting student issues and campaigns in the local media in both print and broadcast formats.
I'd say in GMIT the role that they play in around students' lives and responsibility as well too is immense.
What input would they have would be always very positive, I would have to say.
Well, I suppose the influence is huge because from our point of view, we're trying to cover a lot of topics, whether it be welfare, entertainment, looking after the academic side of things for students as well. And we're quite politically active at the moment as well with regard to the likes of the Susie grants issue. So I think the influence is massive.
The GMIT Student Union is one of the few unions in the country which run and operate GMIT's clubs and societies.
Well, I suppose it's one of the more popular activities in GMIT over the years, and Galway RTC before that. I suppose I came here in 1997, but that doesn't mean there wasn't anything going on before that. Fellas like Bernard O'Hara and Sean O'Dea and John Sherry and Donncha O'Haleha were all involved and got the club started way back when the college first opened. So I suppose I'm just trying to keep things going. And I suppose we've gone from strength to strength over the years.
Yeah, we've got up to 30 sports clubs in GMIT. Everything from archery to kayaking to trampolining, cricket, and in your core sports, your GA, your soccer and rugby, I suppose. There's a good variety there for all the students to choose from.
Well, I've had some good experiences playing soccer for GMIT. I find it as a good way to get a break from your studies. I've also had some good memories. We reached All-Ireland final playing and got the chance to represent GMIT at international level.
There's a senior club hurling level, and then there's a college club hurling level, which is a step above it, and your next step then is the senior intercounty. So when I played at fresher level and senior college hurling, it was the next best thing you could get to intercounty.
I suppose that there's no point in me lying about saying that I picked up rugby here to play for Ireland. It was more a social aspect of things. Going out on a mucky Monday night up on the top pitch in Galwegians, enjoying the crack with the lads, going to Flannery's next door, having a few pints.
Particular emphasis is placed on the class rep system and training.
15 to 16 years I've been involved in helping the student union training, the class rep and their executives, and to walk into a room where you see 200-300 people who prepare to be trained as class reps is phenomenal.
The Students' Union supports all sorts of activity, be it academic, be it social activity, and we actively encourage students to get involved to the extent that all of the schools and colleges here have a head rep and various class reps. And in the College of Tourism and Arts, for example, we meet with all those reps twice a semester.
Come rain or shine, the Students' Union at GMIT has never been backward about coming forward.
Protesting and campaigning and so on has been a big part of my time here, and the fact that the student body in GMIT in particular have notably got so engaged with that and have been willing to stand with us and fight with us.
You know, it was the time of student protest. It's one of the things that I thought of later on in life, that the students in the 70s particularly, you know, they went out and they protested about world matters and national issues more than being too concerned about their own particular problems.
It's great to see the students taken to the streets and having marches, and you'll always see the Students' Union President at the head.
We had to go about organising the first fees protest, and the reaction I remember that day that we got was unbelievable, because the rain was pouring as the houses here in Galway, and we were worried that the protest wouldn't go ahead, but the students, they came out in numbers that day, and I'll always remember.
The Student Union is heavily involved in running events and extracurricular activities.
As an audience, I think they're remarkable. They're enthusiasts, aren't they, in fairness? And that's a good thing about any student body. I've been all over the place. I've been to several different colleges, worked with several different student bodies. Particularly in GMIT, there's a great element of camaraderie, because you have people from Donegal here, you have people from Galway, people from Dublin. They all seem to come together. They have different interests. And I've done so many different events for GMIT at this stage, between blind dates, poker nights. We had a take me out night. We had a mock wedding. And when you just see the variety that's there and the interaction that comes from so many different levels, particularly from the ones that you think are shy, they come out of their shell. I think events like that are important to students. It gives them that bit of confidence that they need to get on.
Well, it's when you've, things like we would have ran a concert there in the last couple of years, the Moxygen Festival. It was the first time IoT in the country had ever tried anything on that scale. We had over 1,700 students attend, which for a college of our size was obviously a massive event. And for something like that to come off, was obviously a proud achievement.
Student Union here at GMIT has always had a strong relationship with staff and management.
Oh, I think excellent. I think the way the IT structures in Ireland work, and particularly GMIT, is an open relationship. The idea is that we're student focused. So it changes, I suppose, as the students progress. When a first year comes in, they're often quite anxious. We try to get engaging with them. We try to engage, but sometimes they may have a query. They may sooner go to the student union. The student union come to us, and we work through things very quickly.
They represent on all the statutory bodies, the governing body, the academic council. And if you don't have a strong student body, like we don't know maybe what the student issues are, we don't know what the students are thinking. So if the students' union officers present the case and present the issues that affect students, and particularly even at programme level, often students may be uncomfortable maybe voicing their concerns, whereas they can do that through the students' union. And if there are issues affecting them, that maybe the resources or maybe the timetable, whatever it might be, that the students' union there can represent the student body and ensure that students get a better learning experience as a result.
It's all about the students and it's all about the staff. But don't just take our word for it.
They're trustees of the union and we entrust them for the year to do what they believe is right for the students at GMIT.
Coming from the student side to working with them, yeah, it's an unusual experience, because when you're a student, obviously they're your first port of call if you're in trouble, if you're stuck. And I've always had great dealings with them, because at the time I think I'm from Westmeath, so I was sort of away from home. I wouldn't have known that many people here, probably stuck for a few pounds every now and again, and they're always there to help out.
I think it's very, very important. We've been very fortunate over the years that we've had an excellent student union who are very focused, who are very professional in everything that they do. They used to use technology, using texting and other technologies and Twitter and the website. They're perceived to be very professional. They're not an organisation to be messed with, they're an organisation to be respected.
One of the things that strikes me about the students' union here at GMIT is their accessibility at all times. And when I use the term accessibility, I mean in a two-way manner. The students' union is always accessible to me and other staff members, and vice versa, we're also accessible to them. So it's part of a team. I mean, this institute could not function without a good, well-administered student union. It's critical.
I've experienced anything like it, and I don't think no matter what kind of job I go into in the future I'll have experienced anything like it, because you're dealing on a daily basis with so many students, and you could be sitting in your office 1 minute some student come in with one problem, it could be in relation to a grant, or secondly a student come in then it could be on a bit of fundraiser or something. You're dealing with so much different things that it prepares you for maybe anything you go into in the future, any kind of walk of life. You don't know what's going to come into your office next day. But so I'd say the experience I had was just one that I'll always have fond memories of.
I think from a college management perspective, I think from a GMIT perspective, and I think even from our own perspective, I'd be willing to say it is, and certainly does everything it can to try and be a student-centred organisation and a student-focused organisation.